are new here, let me introduce myself very quickly. My name is Big Jano. I'm an engineer by day, but by night, I like the game, I like to 3D print and create awesomeness here on Twitch a few nights a week. Frozone. Is that my nickname now, the Frozone? Come for the model building, stay for the ASMR. Let's go. Welcome everybody to the Tuesday stream. Welcome on in. Great to see you here. Hello. So glad you all can make it. Welcome on in. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Tuesday. Let's get some hype in the chat for the Tuesday stream. The first stream of the week. Let's get some more hype in the chat, because I feel like it. Welcome on in, everybody. Great to see everybody here. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. And I hope you guys had a fantastic weekend here. Let me introduce myself for those that might be new here to the channel. My name is Big Jano. I'm an engineer by day, but by night, I like the game, I like to 3D print and create awesomeness here on Twitch and on YouTube a few nights a week. Not so much, well, YouTube not live streaming, but I don't know why I kind of threw that in there. But chat, welcome on in. Billers Mark, hello, great to see you as well. Witchwake, I saw he was in here earlier. Welcome in as well if you're still here, Witchwake. Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody. It's been a very crazy, busy couple days here. The weekend actually wasn't too bad for me. I got some stuff done around the house. We posted another YouTube video that I decided to make at the last second on Friday night. It was like 8 p.m. on Friday night. I'm like, you know what? Let's film some stuff. And I knocked out our latest YouTube video in one night and got it edited up for Saturday. So if you guys haven't yet checked out our latest YouTube video, definitely go check that out after the stream, of course. But yeah, this weekend wasn't too bad. Hope everyone else's weekend was great. Imprinting hexagon nanoleafs in one of the sides, decided it was going to peel up. Jokes on the print, failed on the part that won't be seen. Oh, that's at least good. That's nice. Yeah, the nice thing with those, like, and kind of like how those kind of came out, you know, if they're from far, if you're seeing them from far away, you know, even if there's small imperfections in the print, you're not going to be able to see it too often, unless you look at it up close. Which is, I mean, I guess the nice thing about those, it's a very basic shape. So it's not terribly bad, but that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I'm glad your printers are up and running. Mine are both up and running at the moment. I actually right before stream, I had finally got a chance to update the firmware on the machine to there's a version 1.5, but it's a beta, so I didn't update that version. But I had the firmware that I have is a community-based firmware. And I had version 1.4.3, and I just upgraded to 1.4.4. And the first thing I printed on there was that little flow test cube that old curmudgeon had suggested. Yes, hype for that. The little flow test cube that old curmudgeon suggested. I got that printed just now. It literally printed it during the welcome in countdown clock. You can see it there, printing it with some of the cyan printed solid I had in the printer. I'm just letting it cool down so I can take a look at it, because I finally got a new battery for my calipers, and I will throw some hype in the chat for that. Finally got a new battery in here. I can measure things. I can kind of be an engineer now. Excited for IAPA next week. Nice. I don't know if I'm going to be active around many of the events for IAPA. I found out today that the TEA event was, because usually every year the TEA does a mixer, usually on Tuesday, and this year it's at Discovery Cove, which is by SeaWorld, right across the street from SeaWorld, but it's like $130 per person. It's not a free mixer, and even if it's not a free mixer, last year's event was at the giant Ferris wheel, and that was only like $10 to $15 worth of, like, for get your ticket for the mixer. So I probably won't be going to that mixer. Yeah, for $130, and they didn't even announce it either. They announced it today that it was happening next week, and you need to like buy a ticket for it. So I probably won't be at that. In terms of the actual trade show, I probably won't be at that either. Unfortunately, I think this year I'm going to be missing out. But I am around town, so if someone calls me up to do stuff or come to one of the after parties, I'll try to make it to one of those. But yeah, my IAPA schedule is pretty light this year, to be honest. I wasn't expecting anything this year, but I don't have a guest ticket this year to the show, and I don't have the time off to take either for it. So I'm probably going to back out of it this year, but I'll be living vicariously through my friends that are in the industry that take, social media posts and post all sorts of stuff. But me and a bunch of my enthusiast friends are going to dinner Tuesday night after the youth event at Fun Spot if you want to tag along. I'll look into that. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Yeah, because it's weird how... the only thing I don't like about IAPA is that there's the admission price to get into the show, which is a separate price, and it's you have your member fee and non-member fee. Pay a little bit higher if you're not a member. But the fact that a lot of the the talks and stuff are also like extra on top of your ticket. Like I know you can buy the educational session pack that gets you into all those sessions for one price, but I don't know. I feel like I don't like the fact that they charge on top of that, because I've been to past trade shows and I've always wanted to do some of those, like go to some of those sessions where you get to listen to people talk about, whatever the topic is of that talk. But it's like $50 extra, $100 extra. It's like, it kind of deters a lot of people. But I remember when I was still in college, I went to a few because it came with the student ticket at the time. Or not the student, it wasn't a student ticket at the time. It was the get in after like 5 p.m. on a like halfway through the show ticket, which was a little bit cheaper. But they said, yeah, you have access to all that stuff. So that was nice then, but I would like to, I wish they kind of just include that in the ticket price so you have access to it whenever you wanted to go. And because I know a lot of the high ticketed event, like the high profile events, are always extra money. The IAPA Celebrates event that I forget where it's at this year, I think it's at Universal. It's basically the after hour party for IAPA people to go and rent out the theme parks. So that's always like $100 extra. Like that's like $200, $300 per extra on top of your ticket, which I guess if you're not local to the area, I guess that makes sense. But I guess for those in Orlando, it's like I can go to the park any other day. Got in for free from A1 Games. They gave out promo codes. Nice. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Well, if I don't make it out to that area of town next week, I hope that's a great event. I am looking forward to seeing all the posts for it. I'm looking forward to seeing all the announcements. I think that they're going to be, they're going to obviously, here's my predictions. SeaWorld's going to show off one of the new trains for the stand-up coaster they're building. I think, let's see, what other, because last year RMC announced the new Fun Spot coaster in Georgia last year with RMC. And this is a B&M ride that's coming into SeaWorld, so that might be a train that they might bring out, like a sample car to show off. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other B&M rides that they're building this year. You're upset about Wildcat Hershey Park? I mean, I've only ridden that ride. I think I rode Wildcat maybe once or twice. I've only been to Hershey Park 2 times in my life, and I think I rode it once each time I went. And the last time I went, it was 2016 was the last time I went, because I was in the area for the, when I was still in college, the GCI had their every other year event for up and coming college students that wanted to get in the industry. It was like the Fred X event that they had in the summer. I got invited to that when I was in school many years back in 2016. I feel old right now, but because they're about an hour away from where GCI is located in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, I ended up going to Hershey Park one night, and I rode it then, and the ride itself's not a bad ride, but I agree that they needed to do something with it to kind of refresh it. It was a little bit rougher for a GCI, which is sad because GCIs are usually buttery smooth, but they had the older trains. And some of the track did not look like it was going to last much longer. So I'm interested to see what they do with it in terms of the RMC refurb with it. I mean, I'm always down for any new RMCs because they're like, I would call them the unicorns of the roller coaster world, because they're far and few between. And after riding Iron Gwazi at Busch, I think they're doing okay with those for the most part. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I know some people, because they have a nostalgia to Hershey Park, they grew up there, they're not as thrilled about it. But between that and the new one at Fun Spot in Georgia, that looks pretty solid. I think that's opening up this year or next year, I guess. That should be pretty cool. I'm excited for that. What else do they have? Let's see. Skyline's supposedly announcing something either this week or next week. But they kind of are... They announced their newer attractions that they had last year, because I did some stuff for them, and I kind of knew about that then. But I know they're announcing something else. I'm trying to think who else is announcing something. I'm sure there's going to be other ones that I don't know about. I'm thinking about the bigger people. Let's see. Golden Horse is going to be there. Okay, I forget which one that is, but much rather would have seen it get Titan Track. That's actually not a bad argument for that, because I do like the Titan Track. Especially, on White Lightning at Fun Spot here in Orlando, the little section of Titan Track, even though it's like a couple 100 feet, it does make a difference. I will give them that. I wonder how. It's interesting to see if there's what's the cost trade-offs between taking out of the track and putting in Titan Track versus RMC it. And it probably comes down to what the park wants at that point. I'm sure money has something to do with it, and budget does have something to do with that. But I most of the time, those types of decisions are usually what the park wants. And I can see why they want an RMC. It's a marketing tool, because now once you have an RMC coaster at your park, you're gonna have more coaster enthusiasts come to your park. You're gonna have more people that haven't been to Hershey Park in a while end up coming over. So it is a marketing tool. I can kind of see it that way. But I don't disagree with you that the Titan track could have been a good option as well. It actually, that's, you know, I wish they would have done that with White Lightning, because there's still certain sections of White Lightning that are still really rough. It's gotten better, but there's another one that had. I will say though, the newer GCIs have been usually really buttery smooth. Where was I just at? Texas Stingray at SeaWorld San Antonio is butter smooth, and that still has. I know they're using a steel structure underneath the wood, so it's a little bit smoother that way. But I don't believe they're using any Titan track there. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that, but I know. But Wildcat, I know, is way older than that, so it's interesting. But yeah, I always love IAAPA season, because it's nice to see all the new stuff that they announce. Also, on top of that, you know, I have friends in the industry still, so I always usually catch up with them. But I feel like this year's a little bit. I don't know. I feel like this year I'm not going to be able to do much during the week. But if I end up somehow last minute getting invited to something, or I'm around town, I will definitely let you know, because because a lot of people I know are coming out of town too. I know a good chunk of my friends that are in the industry still. They usually come in for the event, but it's always a good time. I do miss, though, back in the day, when my very first IAAPA back in 2016, the little area where they had all the food samples was so much bigger, and they had, you know, so many different samples to try. You know, you had your beaver tails, you had your Dippin' Dots, but you also had it was the Honolulu hot dog food truck, which was basically you took a hot dog and stuffed it inside of like a sweet, like Hawaiian bread roll, and it was just the most delicious thing ever. I don't know what it was about it, but they stopped bringing the cart there for the show. I think they I don't know if they gave up on that venture or not, but yeah, IAAPA's a good time to get your Dippin' Dots fix. I don't usually care for Dippin' Dots. I never have growing up. I never did. But when I was at IAAPA, or every time I go to IAAPA, I have to get some, because it's there, it's free. It's like the only time I'll ever eat it. They did add more Titan track to White Lightning. I thought it was just a top on the drop before the last turn of the station. That's where I think it is. I'm pretty sure that's the only section that is. I thought they added more to the first half of the ride, but I know for a fact there is a section right near the last bank turn before the brake run. I know they were thinking about adding more. I could be completely wrong, but it's been a minute since I've been over there too, so I need to go and verify that. But I know for a fact they have it on that last bank turn, or around that bank turn area right before the brake run. But yeah, it's been a minute since it's been almost a year since I've been to Fun Spot. Last time I went was around this time. It was like in December. We had the TEA, Themed Entertainment Association holiday party. It was in downtown Orlando. And then a bunch of my friends were like, "Do you want to go to Fun Spot afterwards?" And I was like, "Sure." And I had to pay like $30 to get in after like 10 p.m. But the park was like almost dead, and it was like a Tuesday night, so we were able to just basically like re-ride White Lightning for like an hour. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the last time I was there. So it's been almost a year. It's been almost a year. But I'm glad that IAAPA's next weekend and not this weekend, or not this week, because this week now we have the fun of the hurricane that's blowing through here probably on Thursday. We're supposed to get pretty good impact from that. That kind of came out of nowhere. I went to the store over the weekend. I'm like, oh, I'll just get some stuff just in case. And then they came out yesterday and you're like, yeah, it's coming to Florida. I'm like, great. I got to prepare for another hurricane. So that is not ideal for me this week. So keep an eye out for Thursday's stream. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, depending on how severe the weather gets here. And if I lose power, then it's going to be a problem for streaming. But yeah, we'll wait and see on that. Hopefully I don't have to cancel another marble race, but Mind blower boat with Titan track would be absolutely mad. Oh, absolutely. That thing is intense as it is. That thing is as intense as they built it. And I've only been on that a few times. And I think the last time I've been on it multiple times. The first time I rode it, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. The second time I'm on it, I'm like, okay. And then the last time I was on it, I'm like, this is rough. Like, I don't know if it's my old age, but it's not the smoothest. It's not the. That thing messes you up a little bit. But yeah, it's also one of those parks that I haven't been to in some time. I don't have a Fun Spot pass, so I don't go there. I know a few of my friends have Fun Spot passes, but I don't. And I haven't been there so long. So especially, I've been to the one in Orlando way more than I have the one in Kissimmee, because that one's a little bit. I wouldn't say it's that further away, but it's kind of on the opposite end of where I want to be. Kissimmee's not the most entertaining area of town, but yeah, that thing is a little bit rougher than I thought it would be. Like straight up, I had a really bad headache after that one, but yeah, that'd be interesting to say the least. That would be very interesting to see how that works out. Supposedly it's riding really rough this year. Ooh. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it's a very small, compact ride. And I remember I did get to tour it. I actually have a hard hat in my other room with a Mind Blower sticker on it, because we got to tour it through Skyline when I was when I was in school. I went to the Skyline Skynext thing that they stopped doing a couple years ago. And we actually got a behind-the-scenes tour of them in the construction zone. We all got hard hats. We all got to tour the site. And it's a lot of support material. There's a lot of supports. It's very condensed for a very tight area. But they added a lot of bends. They did a lot in the little footprint they had. I was really impressed with that, because that park is super small to begin with. You don't have a lot of real estate to, build a coaster out there. So I give them props for that, but it's almost to the point where they almost did slightly too much. Because yeah, they load those trains up and it hauls. You're absolutely right though. It hauls. You get absolutely zero break from once you leave the top of the lift hill till the brake run. It's that insane. It really is. It is really that insane. But I'm very much looking forward to SeaWorld's new coaster for next year. I think that's gonna be a great addition. I honestly think Icebreaker's a nice addition to the park itself. I've only been on Icebreaker a handful of times as well, but I do believe I honestly like Icebreaker. I think it's a nice little ride for the park. I think that's a nice little ride for the park. I think they're doing, and then adding this new ride, I forget the name of it, but adding the new coaster is going to help even more. I love it how it sits near the front of the entrance, and this looks way more intense too than the other one. I gotta renew my Fusion 360 license. Of course I do. Pipeline looks amazing. I just wish there were more inversions. Yeah, and I get that. They're trying to cater to the. SeaWorld does a good job of catering to the not like really young infant or really young toddler on most attractions. You know, you have Disney that caters most of their attractions to the younger crowd, the little kids, for the most part. Universal is kind of on the other end of the spectrum, I think. They do more of the extreme stuff, the 54-inch height requirement rides, you know, stuff on the higher end. I think SeaWorld's kind of in the middle. They have a little bit of both. You know, you have Mako, that's, I think, 54 inches. You have Kraken, I think, is 48. I think, what's the other one? Manta, I think, is 52 or 54. I could be wrong. And then Icebreaker's like only like 42, I think. I could be wrong on that, but there's a really nice balance at SeaWorld, I think, and that's what I really love about how, you know, and 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they were on the brink of like not even, you know, functioning that well. I know a couple, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, SeaWorld was like in some trouble. Kraken was running great. The last corkscrew. Oh, the last corkscrew aged poorly. Got some bad hanging. Yeah, that last half of the ride after that mid ride break run is not the most fun, but they did a good job repainting it. You know, it's a lot smoother now than it was a couple years ago. When I first moved down here, it was really rough. It was not the attraction I grew up riding, but I knew it was like a 20-year-old B&M. But I'm glad they were able to keep that up and running for the most part, which is always really, really nice. I love the coasters, but they don't love me. That's unfortunate, Billar's Mark. That is unfortunate. You know, I used to be, like, you know, growing up, I used to be able to ride things over and over and over again, not feel a thing. I'd torture my dad growing up, going to, like, amusement parks, just taking him on things, like, nonstop. And I'm starting to understand why he would, you know, get headaches after one or two rides. And that just makes me feel old now, because it's like, now I feel that after a couple rides if I don't take a break. Stupid aging. Icebreaker's 54 inches now? Oh, I thought it was a lot less. I know there were some issues with... Oh gosh. It is just pouring rain outside. It is pouring. But yeah, I thought when it opened it was less than 54, but I know there were some issues with I guess there was a kid that like got stuck in the restraint or tried to come out of the restraint. I don't know if that's true, but there were some changes made to the safety requirements. It was supposed to be 48, and then before opening went up to 54. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know they had some issues at opening with that. My one friend used to work for Premiere at the time when that opened, and he worked on that project a little bit. And without getting into too much detail, he told me, he's like, yeah, things are a little messed up on that end. I'm like, all right, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Also, fun fact, Icebreaker wasn't supposed to have comfort collars. Yeah, I wish they didn't put them on there, because that top hat, you hit the G-forces on the top hat, and it like just kills my shoulders every time. So I could be fouling out those. But again, that's a park decision, not a manufacturer decision. If the park wants those, they're gonna put them in there no matter what. And I know Tigris is like that at Busch Gardens. They're not as bad with Tigris. They're not as bad with that. But because the G-force is going up that top hat on the third launch on Icebreaker, you'll feel it. And for someone that's taller like me, you hit your shoulders, you hit your shoulder blades on the top hat, and it's like, yeah, those don't need to be there. I think I know who you're talking about. This name starts with C. No, I don't think his name starts with C. I knew a few people that worked there actually, but one of my closer friends who left there not too long ago, His name does not start with a C. But not to bash any company or anything like that. But from what he told me, he said the culture there wasn't exactly the best. But I don't want to get into that because I don't know any of the details on that. The one I'm thinking of runs the CPC Discord. Okay. Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't know who runs the Discord. I don't know if I know the person that runs the Discord. At least I don't think I don't. Everyone has a lot of people have like fake names on there. So if I saw the real name maybe, but I think I know who you're talking about. I think I know who you're talking about. I've met him before because he's now down here, working here in the area. I didn't know he did stuff for Premiere, but I think I know who you're talking about now. I've met him once or twice. Seems all right. Seems nice. I won't say his name or anything, but he's the one that had the custom 3D printed business cards, right? They made it a couple years ago. If that's the same person I'm thinking of, then I do know him. But I had a different friend that actually worked for Premiere for like 5 years. He went and traveled quite a bit. He went all over the place. He went to Europe. He went to China. He went to Hong Kong. He went all over the place. And he did a lot of traveling. From what he told me, he was like not tired of it, but he wanted to travel less. And I guess they were like, no. But he did get to work on some fun stuff though for them. So, although I did also get to work on stuff for SeaWorld back at my old company. If you're ever next time you're there, Witch Wake, there are by the new Rapids ride by Infinity Falls. There are those giant yellowish orange awnings with like the interactive stuff underneath. You can you go under the awnings. They have the orange structures with the green awnings on them, and there's like the interactive stuff. The company I worked for helped design those at the time. My old company I worked for, not the one I work for now, but the old company I used to work for, we actually designed those for them, and we built them, and I got to work on that. So that was pretty cool. So that is something that I do have a little bit of hands-on at SeaWorld. So for anyone that ever gets to go to SeaWorld Orlando, definitely check those out because they're really cool when they're operational. Because the last few times I've been there, they've shut down the interactive stuff underneath, and they shutter the awnings, and they're basically just sitting there. So that's unfortunate, but it's still something I had a hand in. Let's see. Oh, they were working when you were there? Nice. That's good. That is good. I just realized something. I have the printer, that one, the far one, the Delta. I have it heated up because I was going to try print something tonight on it. So let me kind of switch gears a touch. I know we've been talking about roller coasters and stuff for like a half hour or so, which I always don't mind talking about. You know, I would say it's kind of like there's the people that like Lego and talk about Lego in depth. I'm kind of the same way with like theme parks and roller coasters and stuff because I grew up in that, really wanting to work in that industry, and I kind of still do. But I've always been fascinated by that kind of stuff. But anyway, I am trying to print tonight. I want to go back. I didn't have a chance to do these over the weekend because I tried one and I had some issues with it. Get out of here. But I want to try to print some of these little like layered pieces for the snow globe print that I saw here on Printables. I downloaded all the pieces and I sliced them up. I went to test one out over the weekend and I had some adhesion issues. So I went and retweaked my slicer to slow it down a little bit. Because these are really small like pieces here, you have to be very, very slow. So I'm trying to see, I'm going to try another attempt at one of these. I think I want to do the, I have the lights, which are, well, I have it here in my slicer. This one. And I have the, gotta run, close up work. No worries. No worries, no worries. Thank you for stopping in and saying hi if I don't see you again. But yeah, I tried printing one of these over the weekend, and I had some adhesion issues with it. Just like, it was going too fast to literally lay down that layer. And, you know, this is a very small print. So I did bump the layer line height down a little bit on that. And I also kind of slowed some stuff down as well. I'm going to try to, let me do the infill also a tiny bit slower. This is my lithophane profile, by the way, that I modified. Oh shoot, I just realized I can't because I already sliced it and put it on the SD card. Well, if it fails again, I'll just come back and do this again. When I sliced it said it was going to take about an hour. So slower for the delta in terms of delta speeds, but I might have to slow it down even more. I don't know. But yeah, I need the first layer is the most important on this one because it's, you can see here, it's, you know, really thin on these lines right here. Also these little stars, and it has to make sure when it, you know, it does one star, moves to the next one, does it real quick. So if it does that too fast, it basically leaves a blob in one spot and then moves on to the next section and leaves a blob there. So we'll see how that goes. But I do want, my goal tonight is not, this is kind of the afterthought, more or less. I am going to be working on modeling tonight a little bit of the gingerbread house. I had some more ideas over the weekend I kind of want to put on the modeling software. And kind of start that, just kind of get stuff kind of set up and start getting some stuff together on that end so we can get that project going. And then, like I said, I can probably take this off the build plate. I got the new firmware, or the latest firmware updated on the Mega X. I did the little flow test thing. I can probably pull it off right now because it's been cool for a while. So, I gotta ask Old Curmudgeon though what I'm supposed to be measuring, because this is how it came out. Not terrible. The corners are maybe slightly bulgy. It's hard to see here. The top layer does look a little bit bulged down the corners. Not super terrible, but and then here's the bottom of the print. It's a little bit better. You can see, there we go. You can see a little bit better. Bottom doesn't look bad. This is 0.2 layer height, by the way. And this is the 0.6 nozzle test. I have to go back to the file, but I do have my calipers here that have a new battery in it, so I can measure the walls. But I forget exactly what I'm supposed to look for. But I'll look that that model up in a second. But let me go start the other printer real quick. Go. reason the temperature's not set correctly. But we shall find out in a few minutes here if this does what I'm supposed to do. And we're printing this in the... this is some of the leftover printed solid golden winter glitter PLA that I have. I have a little bit left on the roll. This should be enough for this. But I do have to wait and see. This first layer is critical, so if it starts doing stuff, I'll kill it, but... Yeah, you can see that first layer is looking really slow. All right, it's moved on off the brim. It's right after this outer layer here that it starts to... well, that doesn't look good. That little sharp corner doesn't look bad at all. Good at all. Why does it do that? It's hard to tell from here if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It does look like it's not like blobbing, but I can't tell from here. Let me go back and look at it. I think we're going to let it go. I think it's okay. There is some like residue on the print. There might be a tad of stringing, but all the stars are forming, it looks like, and everything's sticking, which is good. Doesn't look bad to me. I mean, I looked at it really close, but it looks a little bit worse from here, but there's just a couple little like stragglers of filament kind of sticking. Oh, that didn't knock it out of place. Nope, looks like adhesion's still okay. Yeah, there's a little bit on the nozzle just kind of hanging around, which not ideal, but I think it's okay. Looks like it is connecting the pieces. As long as we don't have a major like adhesion issue or it pulls up, then we'll let this go. I did clean the bed before I started this, minus these little stragglers. And this filament is a 1.5 years old, so I'm not like crazy surprised if this filament doesn't print like perfectly. But for what it's doing right now, it doesn't look that bad. I know this is a very detailed print. And if I can get past that first layer, we should be okay. Actually, my main concern isn't so much the stars, it's the base. Because that base has to fit, or I'm sorry, the tab on that piece, the bottom part you see there. The tab has to fit. Okay, that looks like it's filling in now. The tab has to fit in these 3 slots right here. So, and I think the lighter layer line should help with that because this is supposed to be a pretty tight fit into these slots. There was 2 options for this base. You could do the tight slots or the open, more loose slots. I chose to do the tight ones because I don't want them just falling out. But I think we might... Those little blobs on the nozzle I don't really particularly care for, but there's not much I can do with it. I can't really pull them off. They kind of almost took care of themselves a little bit. They kind of pushed themselves away from the print. But the good thing with this print is that there's not a lot of material being printed other than that tab. You see moving filament on the bed? It's just some it's just some stragglers. So if I move the camera up a little bit, you can see it maybe a little better. Maybe not, because the nozzle's right there. Well, I'll let it go. I think it's okay. It doesn't look too bad from here. I know the camera angle's not the best. There's also a ton of retractions in those little movements right there, so just gotta be careful it doesn't retract too much. But yeah, there's some filament caked on the nozzle a little bit. And this is the same retraction settings I do have on my normal profile that I don't have. But yeah, what I wanted to do is make sure that the first couple layers were slower, because on this, something like this, you can't print fast, or else it will not stick. It will not look good. It does look like there's a little bit caked on the nozzle, but I'll deal with that at the end. All right, so that's going at least. That's probably going to take an hour or so, because like I said, it's a smaller layer height, and then it has to go a little bit slower. Normally, if I did this with my normal profile, this would take 30 minutes. But it's not ideal with that profile. So we'll let that print. See how it goes. My goal is to print the different layers in different colors. I have some of this left over. I have some of that dark green I did from the lithophane boxes left over. I have some nice red, that metallic golden apple, candy apple color from Atomic, that red metallic color. Golden apple glitter, I think it's called. That would look great in some of these. I do have that cyan blue that this is in. This wouldn't look bad in that layer. I have some bronze. I don't have a lot of silver. I'm trying to think what other colors I have. Christmassy colors. I do have white. So yeah, I think that'll work out. I gotta look up this flow test thing real quick, because I forgot. It's on Thingiverse, I think. Will promote and send me the link. I gotta know what I'm looking to measure. There we go. Okay, cool. I found it. Details. The wall thickness should be twice the size of the nozzle. So if I have 0.6, the wall should be 1.2. In theory. So let's see if that, according to what this says here. Wall thickness should be twice the size of the nozzle size. But I don't know how I set that up, so let's see. Oh, wait. Gotta put this in millimeters. That would help. Oh, shoot. 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. I forgot I took off all my layers because I was filming my YouTube video. Forgot to reinstall them. Oh my god. There we go. Actually, let's do this. Top-down camera. Let's see. We're at 1.2 millimeters, which we're using a 0.6 nozzle. That's what it's supposed to be. So that's pretty good. Yeah, that was your capuchin from earlier, Builders Mark. I had all the alerts turned off on this overlay, and when I just put them back on, they all came blowing up. All right, so we got 1.2 millimeters on the X. Let's try the Y. .2 on the Y. That's good. And I guess Z, you can't really measure Z. It does have a little bit of a curve though. And you can kind of, like I said, you can kind of see the. Let's see if I can like. There we go. Let's see if we'll zoom in actually properly and maybe. Come on. You can kind of see the corners will look a little bit bloated, not by much. This one corner here is just because of the nozzle ending the print and it like moved up and over. But come on, camera. There we go. Do your thing, Mr. Camera. There you go. Maybe. Come on. There we go. Maybe. Come on. Okay, I think that's the best one we get. You can kind of see the corners aren't perfectly cornered, but the walls are actually what they're supposed to be. So I'm counting this as a win. I'll do another test in a different filament to make sure it's not, you know, the filament, but real quick, what's the size it's supposed to be? Doesn't say. Okay, wait, here we go. Instructions. Use calipers to measure and record two values from all four sides. Add them together and divide by 8. Use this average for next step. Divide 0.8 by the average that was previously established. Multiply that by 100 to give your new flow rate or extrusion multiplier. Gotcha. Okay, so I think my extrusion multiplier is at 1. I don't think it's set to anything higher or lower than 1. But I'll do two values again from each side. Getting 1.2 again. I'll reset. I'll start over. Getting 1.2 there as well. .2. Reset. Excuse me. 1.2. 1.2 again. Reset. .2. All right. 1.2. And 1.2 again. So, I mean, I'm pretty darn accurate on all sides. So that's not bad. And I'm not making that number up. I am legitimately, although you can kind of see the bottom. The bottom looks a little bit thin. I'm not gonna lie. You can see through it a little bit. I don't think it's 2 layers on the bottom, but could be wrong. It doesn't look that bad, but I feel like those little corners could be a little bit less blobby, but I don't know. What do you guys think? This is 0.2 layer height, by the way. It's really not bad. I mean, it's pretty darn good. And my measurements, you know, the measurements don't lie. Yeah, I'm still getting 1.2 millimeters, so I'm assuming that should mean my flow rate is decent. I'll probably do this print again just to make sure I'm not losing it, but it's actually not a bad little test. This is, by the way, this is only like a 7-8 minute print. Nothing too bad on that. But I can do another one of those after stream because those are pretty easy to do. I should probably do one of those on my Delta printer just to see how things go there. I'll bump this up a little bit higher. Just a little bigger, you guys can see it. Yeah, I want to run it again. I'll probably change out the filament just to make sure it's not, you know, to make sure the different filaments give me the same results. But I did update updating the firmware seemed to, I mean, I haven't really dug into the interface much yet with the new firmware, but hoping that the new update to the firmware doesn't freeze my printer or doesn't have the freezing. Although that didn't really happen much when I first downloaded the printer. I think that was a temperature issue that I had with not having the silicone sock on it. But one thing that annoyed the living crap out of me on that printer with that firmware is that you have to have, and I think this is still the case. I haven't tested this out yet. The old update on the firmware, I had to have filament inside the filament sensor for the printer to turn on and turn on normally. If there was no filament in the printer and not through the sensor, the runout sensor, it would boot up, but it would go to like a blank white screen and not load into the main menu, which I thought was really weird. I don't know why it happened like that. It might have been a bug with the software, but hopefully that update to the firmware fixed that, because that was really annoying. Very much so. It also would reset my temperatures on my printer if I had it set to a temperature. Sometimes it would just auto reset back to like turning it off. When I was like loading up stuff. Again, little bugs with the software that over time I kind of just got used to. But still better than the stock firmware for sure, because A, it has the safety features enabled that you need, and B, you can actually do color changes mid-print or whenever you want to do a color change through Marlin. They actually enabled the Marlin M600 command. M600, is that what it is? It lets you actually enable M600 to do a color change. So already a plus, but hopefully the update helps even more. And I just realized, as I take a sip of water, the Builder's Mark, did you redeem a hydrate a long time ago that I completely forgot about? If so, I will give you your little, yep, you did redeem a hydrate. I completely forgot about it. My apologies. If you got a beverage, Chat, if you got a beverage, raise them high, raise them proud. Thank you all for being here tonight. I know it's been a kind of slow stream for the most part, just kind of hanging out tonight. But I appreciate all of you being here. Thank you guys for hanging out. I always appreciate you guys coming by on a Tuesday. And hopefully we'll get this gingerbread house started tonight. But if not, cheers to my procrastination. I do plan on doing some modeling tonight, so before we head off for tonight, we should get do some sort of stuff. It does look like my prints. I was watching the camera, and it looked like it like paused the print. Okay, that was just retraction. Okay, I like freaked out for a split second because I thought the printer was just stopping in spots and then starting up again. But that is just the retraction of the filament. So we're all good there. No worries. Everything's fine. We're all fine. Everything is totally fine. Oh, dang it. It doesn't work when your printer cam's on top of that. There we go. Much better. Dog sitting at table with the fire burning around. Nice. It is that time of year to sit around the fire a lot more and warm up around the fire. It's always a good time of year. Not looking forward to it. Not, I mean, for my parents' sake, I'm not looking forward to it getting colder again. You know, winter time being colder up in, you know, good old Ohio, and never. It's always not fun when you go back home for holidays or whatever during the winter months, and you wake up wearing shorts, and later in the day you're wearing pants because it's 35 and snowing. It's a trade-off. Or if you're going back to warmer climate after the fact, you're the only one at the airport wearing shorts because you're a crazy person. But anyway, for these, we're going to be printing. My goal is to print a bunch of these basically in different colors and have them swap out. And then hopefully enough to fill in this space with 3 of them. But I might make a few. I might make a few of these for some holiday gifts. These actually look pretty cool for like little holiday gifts for people, for my like parents, my sister. And you can. And the nice thing is you can customize. You can swap in whatever ones you want. So I think that's really cool. You guys can kind of see. That's what it looks like when it's all said and done. Minus the printer cam kind of on top of it. There you go. A little better view. But yeah, I meant to do this over the weekend and just did not have the time. The snowflake one will be really cool in the white film I have. That might look cool in that clear Firefly blue from Capricorn. Might be a possibility. If I can get that filament to work. That filament's a little bit trickier to print with because it's glow in the dark and metallic. It's kind of double jeopardy on filament. And the way it was spun on the the way it was spooled onto the filament hole on the spool, it's not the cleanest wind on it, so it's I've had some extrusion issues with it over time, as you guys have seen last week on the stream. So maybe we'll give that one another shot eventually. But I do have other colors we can print with this that we'll be able to hopefully get a few of these printed by Thursday. We can kind of show this off a little bit better. And I can maybe put this up here on the shelf here instead of my already outdated Hot End Harry tombstone here. I still love these though. And I still have the other ones too. They're over on the other shelf. But yeah, it's time to get rid of the Halloween stuff over here and start bringing on the Christmas stuff for sure. But yeah, I think at this point I'm at the point where now I can let's start getting some modeling started. Let's try to. First things first. I gotta clear some stuff off of my library here. Let's get rid of the wall nozzle. Let's archive that for now, since I don't need that anymore since it's on printables. Let's do the mini nozzles. We archive those. The blank canvas tombstone. I can switch over cameras now. The tubing clamp I can archive as well. The back plate I'll archive. I'm going to keep that one just because in case I do need another print, I can print one. Archive that. And I think everything else should be good. I still have I have 6 files. But what I want to do for this project, I'm going to try to keep all the parts for this in one file. On one 3D file. And then basically make each wall like a different body. If that makes sense. Like, that's kind of where I want to go with it. And I'll bring that back up. I'll probably just shrink this down just a tad. There we go. I'm going to bump my light down because I have the light from the monitor over here. Whoops, there we go. I don't need my calculator anymore since I really didn't need it. I'll start here, I guess. So I guess we'll start with the base. So the way I want to do, the way I was thinking about doing this gingerbread house this year was to have kind of like the main part of the house on one side, and then have like a separate, smaller section of the house that kind of like is merged, attached to it, but off to the side. And then I want the corner of the house to have like a cylindrical column type structure with like a kind of like a weird cone-shaped roof, kind of like you see in like medieval castles, kind of something like that, or if you see in like an old-timey like rustic-y house. Does that make sense? But the first thing I'm gonna have to do would be the base. Give me 1 second, just looking up something real quick. All right, all right. All right, so I'm going to start making the base, the ground floor of my house. And remember, I have to make sure all these pieces are going to be able to fit on either Mega X or the Super Racer. So I can't go above 300 by 300 on either machine. I do plan on using both printers to print all the parts for this. But let's just get our base here. My goal right now is to just make the base kind of structure and then add the detail either as we go or kind of near the end. So that's the 3 inches wide. I can pretty much go like 11.5 by 11.5 inches on the Mega X. Let's make this like a... Let's do 10 inches. And then for the width, I want to make this a little bit... I want to make it more like a rectangle. So actually, I probably want to do... So maybe I want to do 10 inches on there, and then maybe like 8 on here. We can always make more we can always make more pieces, but... okay. And I think from last year, I want to keep it the same thickness of each piece, be like a 1/4 inch thick. I thought that worked out pretty well last year, so I'm going to try to do that again the same this year. Whoops, do not want that. Okay, so like what I'll show you in a second what I'm gonna do here. So I'll extrude this up 1/4 inch. And what I'm gonna probably have to do is I'm gonna have to label these different colors, but I'll make a new sketch on that face. That should be here. Imperial. Make me laugh, Builders Mark. Okay, so this part's going to kind of attach. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I do need to make. I kind of want to do something like where it has like pillars in the front of like the foyer area of the house. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to add walls to where I think walls are gonna need to go. So actually, I need to go back to here. I'll add a wall here. That's going to be 10 inches. Guess you guys need to see it first. Okay, so that's going to be 1/4 inch right there. And then this is going to be 10. It's also going to be 10. Okay. So now I can extrude this up X amount. Now make it a separate body so that it new body. I'll change this in a second. But now, whoops, there we go. So now I can have multiple parts in here, but it's still under one 3D file. So I have that body, that body. And I'm going to do that for the entire structure of the house. So that way I can modify things if I need to and not have to worry about everything else. And this is going to give me a better visual this year of making sure like things line up where they're supposed to go. Unlike last year where the wall pieces you can kind of see stick out. You can see back here it sticks out past the roof. And same on this side. So I made those a little bit too long last year. So I'm doing this kind of to make sure things don't get under or oversized. So actually I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to this extrude. I think 6 inches works here because I might do a second story. And I might make like a ceiling piece and then add a second story to it. This is the front. I guess it's the front. I might change the shape of this wall. There's something I kind of wanted to do. But I gotta figure out how I want to do it, though. Well, I guess I could do it here. I can't do here. That's fine. Let me get the other walls up first, and then I'll kind of go back. Basically, I'm just going to be adding sketches and rectangles for a good chunk of this. It's going to be 8. Actually, this is going to be longer than 8. This is going to be 8.25. And on that, actually, on that note, it's going to be longer than that. It's going to be another 1/4 inch, so add 8.5. I gotta delete the sketch because there's gonna be the other wall behind it. I'm sure you can build houses like that. I mean, I'm not an architect, builder's mark, by any stretch of the imagination, but I still think this will look pretty cool. It's not gonna look anything spectacular right this second because of, I'm just trying to get a general outline of things kind of started. I'm gonna start that. No, I don't want to start a new sketch here. I want to. Okay, let's fix our. I wish there was better orientation things. Okay, I want the top view. Okay, let's add our rectangle here. I'll start it here, and then I swear this software is going to give me a nightmare. Okay, I need to add this down here. Nope. It's not going to let me do that. I just want to make this line up with the right thing. All right, let's. All right, now I can add my length here up to here. Actually, it's going to go further than that. There we go. That's what I wanted. And then 8.5 this way. So that way, the next wall can go right here. Well, I might want to connect that first. Just might want to connect it. There we go. And this one I'm going to have to extrude 2 different directions. First one I'm going to have to go up to, it'll be 6 inches, I believe. No. Also, why is it thicker? Hold on. Hold on. That's why. Ah. That will do it. There we go. Now let's try to extrude that again. Do body. And then I also have to extrude down the other way at 1/4 inch. There we go. So we got almost an open cube here. So now all we gotta do is make our other 2 walls. And we should be good. I had to change it up a little bit. Alright, next piece. Next piece. Let's make our sketch. Let's make the bottom so I can actually see what I'm doing. I'm gonna make the other side first. I'll line it up. Okay, and it's going to be 8.5. And then I'm also going to make that coincident. So it should line up correctly. And this should actually merge pretty easily. There we go. Now this is just part of the... This is just going to be part of the house. Or at least the rough shape of it. Hey, Old Curmudgeon. Welcome in. Old Curmudgeon, I did do your little flow calibration test, and we got really good results from it. I did the 0.6 nozzle test, and we got 1.2 millimeter walls on all 4 sides. So, did pretty well. Did a good job on it. I'll do another one. I'm going to do another one or another few just to make sure that the results are good. But I got a new battery in my calipers now, so I can actually measure things. Old Curmudgeon coming in with the hydrate. I'll get to that in just a second. Let me get this extra wall here. I'm working right now on just modeling up some base pieces for the house, for the gingerbread house. This is going to be very rough work in progress at the moment, just kind of getting the base structure. I'm going to be doing some more like sculpting work and make it look a little bit fancier once I get kind of an idea plopped down. But my plan is to make a couple different kind of like parts of the house. So it's going to be a little bit bigger this year, probably more parts to print, but I think it's going to look pretty cool at the end of the day. At the end of the next month, I guess. But I'm working on getting all these pieces pretty much made. And what I'm going to do is make everything in one print file, or one save file, and then have multiple bodies, so I can select and deselect which ones I want to print, export, etc. Okay, let's I know this isn't gonna snap into place. I should. I don't know how. Does anyone remember how to get your like snapping references in check? We're gonna make sure. Hover over the end. I mean, it does. But like, if I get rid of this, because I've had this issue happen in Fusion before. Like, I want to start a sketch. I guess I can do profile here. Maybe that would work. I guess that works a little better. Make that 1/4 of an inch. Make that 10. I mean, I guess this works too. Make a projected line and just sketch from there. Whoops. Okay. Now, should be able to extrude up. 6.5. Or is it 6? 6. There we go. New body. And there we go. We have a open box, which I might turn into like having a second story, which have a roof ceiling piece and then doing another layer on top of it, which sounds crazy. Where's my front? There we go. I want my front aligned up. I'm going to add just a very I'm going to add a door here just because I want just something to reference the front. I'm not going to do much with it right now. Other than maybe briefly, just very faintly extrude. Like, very faintly. Just so I can see that that's the front of the house. So you guys can see. That's going to get, that'll change. That's for sure it's going to change. But I just want, that gives me a reference for the front. I know you have your actual reference XYZ plane up here. That makes it a little bit easier to reference things. All right, next section of the house is going to be to the right, or the left. My stage right, I guess. Is that what they call it? Stage right. Let's see. I will need another base piece, so I will have to... I can use that plane as the sketch. I'm going to do it from that side. Not from the corner. And so this is going to be a little bit different. This is going to have like a little bit of a diagonal curve to it. So I'm going to start from... I'm going to project this line right here. So it gives me some of the reference. I will make a base rectangle to start. This is actually going to be not as deep. probably like 3/4 of the way up, maybe. I'll give that a proper measurement. We'll give it 6.5 inches. Because you'll see in a second what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to make this 8. That 8. Okay. So I'm actually not done with this yet. I'm going to... Actually... I have a directive from the Better 3/4 to make shelf elf accessories this month. I don't have one of those myself, but those are always really fun to see other people's pictures online of what they do with it for the year. So if you do anything for that, old curmudgeon, definitely post some pictures in our Discord under the like the projects tab. That'd be really cool to see. Fusion tends to work against me that way, always does the opposite of what I need. Yeah, I know there are definitely things in Fusion that don't make a lot of sense in terms of how it actually spits it out at you. But like sometimes like you want to do something super easy, but it makes it a lot more difficult. I don't know what it is. I know Fusion's like that. SolidWorks is like that with other things. SolidWorks is like that in terms of when you're trying to do surfacing with like curves and non-uniform edges. It does not. I can't surface on SolidWorks to save my life. I can't. It's one of those things I want to learn how to do because I can't for the life of me. All right, so I actually want to make like an angle on this, so I don't know why I have it all the way out here, but I'm gonna come in like, let's say 3 inches. Come out like here. I'll come down like here. And I'm going to add... I want to add like a circular area to here. So I might have to come down over. And I know this isn't horizontal, so give me 1 second. I gotta fix that. Undo that. This is gonna be a 90-degree. Go. I'll fix this dimension in just a second. And I want to add like a circular area here. I want it on this. I want it tangent to both walls here and here. How big is that? 3 inch in. Let's make it 3.5. That way I can do this. And then here and here. And then here and here. Okay, there we go. So what I plan on doing is making a like circular tower part of the house. You kind of see on like rustic type houses. You see in like, I don't know if that makes sense. Then I'm going to, looks kind of small in reference to it though. Almost make it kind of look like a castle pillar, almost. But I also might make this like a curved radius here. And I'm going to go back to my sketch because it wasn't done. Trim up. There we go. I wanted like a curved part to the house, and honestly, I might make this wider. Actually, I'm gonna make it a tiny bit wider if I can. What's that? That's 8 inches, so it's actually a little bit. I want to make it actually less wide. Let's make this like 4.5. I do want to make it a tiny bit. There we go. I just got to make sure that this isn't too tall. What's that here? 8? Okay, so we should be fine. Let's measure from here to here just to give it a measurement. Sure. Call this like the side section of the house. But now we can extrude this. It'll be 1/4 inch the other way. Not sure where I got that incorrect, but new body. But now you can kind of see all these parts are going to be separate. So that way when I have to go export all these parts, I can do it where I don't have to save this more than once. Speaking of saving it, let's save this thing so I don't lose it. All caps, because we're serious. And then we're going to make our... And one thing I wanted to do as well is add sections of this, or add some holes, like cutouts, to add some lights. I bought, yesterday, I went to Walmart, and I found, because I had to go to Walmart for a couple of reasons. I had to go get some last minute... top off some hurricane supplies because I got to deal with that this week. But I was also looking for some other things when I was there. I ended up buying another... I bought a new Christmas tree for my house because my other one is 5 years old and parts of it are broken. The base is broken, which I probably could 3D print a new base, but the some of the branches don't hook into the center part anymore, so I got a really good deal on a new tree. But in the meantime, I also found some of those little fairy lights, the ones like the battery pack powered fairy lights in different colors, and I might use those, kind of either wrapping them around certain sections here. And they're small enough that they'll work a lot better with this versus using the leftover LEDs, because those are pretty bright, or large too. So I might still use those, but I found a couple of packs of those little fairy lights that I might try out. It might work out really well here, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it would be cool with LEDs. It would be. I'm not ruling that out, but I found them and I was like, you know what? Maybe I'd be able to use those since they're battery powered, and I can kind of wrap them around certain sections of the house. I can maybe glue them into place, tape them into place. If I didn't want to go all out with the gumdrops this year, which I probably will make the gumdrop files again, but Yeah, you could use an Arduino. So if you went the Arduino route, you could program, say, like if you had the LED strips, for example, the LED strips that are in those lights back there, because those are programmed by an Arduino. So the light patterns you see in the background, minus the one triangle up top that's kind of giving me problems at the moment. Every 3 minutes is a different color pattern. It's actually programmed in the Arduino to run. So every 3 minutes, I think there's 10 different light patterns and color patterns that run on those lights. And every 3 minutes is a different color pattern. So after that 3 minutes is up, you'll see the next color pattern. But that's what you can use an Arduino for, is to program the code through some really basic LED software libraries in the Arduino database, and you can actually program the lights by colors, effects. You can see now the next effect started, so now 3 minutes, and then the next one will go, and I have it looping, so it continues and just repeats. So that you could do, that's one thing you can do with the Arduino, is that you can program a timed command, basically, or a show or a script. And that's what you can do there. There's plenty of other stuff you can do with the Arduino, for sure. But if you want to just do some programming, some LED strips, that's the one route you could go. You could add and I have the rest of my Arduino kit that I got with the Arduino. It came with a kit with a bunch of other stuff you can play around with. You can add, microphones, so you can have it detect sound. You could have it. You can add little sensors to, like little visual sensors to, trigger different things. You could do all sorts of things, I think, with it. But I do need to go through that box and start picking out some stuff in there and seeing what I could use that came in that giant kit. Because I still have that giant kit that I haven't really done much with, other than the Arduino itself, or the... I've used a lot of the little jumper cables and the resistors for setting up those lights, setting up the nozzle lights back in the back. Yeah, just take the lazy route and buy the lights that are packed in modules already. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, this strand of LED strips that are on my wall back here that they're away from the camera, you can't see them. Those are just the standard buy off the shelf, like cheap LED strips that I have the remote that changes the colors. So if I wanted to really change it to blue or green or yellow or whatever color, I mean, I have those still. There's nothing wrong with those. I just started getting into the addressable stuff that you can command, that you can actually program to do things. But yeah, if you want something quick and dirty, I mean, there's nothing wrong with these that come with the remote. These ones I bought aren't too bad. These are, I think, Govee lights. I think they're not the really expensive ones. I know the newer Govee lights have you can program a little bit more with like phone apps and stuff like that. These are just the really basic changing ones. Where's my rainbow? Here we go. Our hype train colors, our hype train effects, which we're not on a hype train, but we haven't had one in a while. Anyway, but yeah, you can kind of do stuff like that with the Arduino, among other things as well. I would love, and this is a big dream project for me, would be to make my own giant light show, like you see during the holidays, where people decorate their entire house and then have it programmed to lights and music and stuff like that, and have it go off every couple hours every night. I would love to do something like that for in here. That I don't think I have I would need a lot to get that to work. I would need a good controller to do that. Some better LED strips, maybe not better LED strips, but better controller, much more power to them, and much beefier power supply, to say the least. And I would need to learn some software to get that kind of stuff up and running. But I think that would be pretty cool to do a really cool Christmas light show. I would love to do that. I would love to do something like that one day. All right, let's get the rest of the walls here built. What I want to do, we're going to add walls around this rectangular section here, basically. And then around this section here, we're going to have it open because we're going to add some pillars and make like a second roof piece. Got a bullet, 12-hour days, wear on the body. Hey, no worries, old curmudgeon. I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Get some rest, my friend. And I will definitely see you all potentially on Thursday. Give or take. As long as the hurricane doesn't knock my power out on Thursday, we should still be here Thursday streaming. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get the walls. Guys, start a new sketch. Flip you back around because I don't like going from the bottom up. I'm going to project that line, make it a little easier. Let's add maybe a 1/4 inch. And that'll be 10. We'll pop you up. That goes 6. Actually, this might be... We'll keep you there for now. I might make it shorter, I might make it taller. I haven't decided yet. There's going to be, basically, all I know for sure is that there's going to be a lot of gluing things together. This is going to take a lot longer to build than the last one, for sure. And it looks like our print's done, by the way, chat. Which is good timing. Alright, let's add the next sketched wall here. We're going to go to the outside here. Do that. Project surface. Actually, we're going to do this one too. And we're going to go to... We're going to go till where it gets to this point. We're going to go till it gets to this point right there. So it's... shouldn't be much in terms of... 0.25. And whatever this dimension is, 4.75. Because I might make this slightly open. There we go. It's not looking bad, chat. It's not looking bad. We're getting there. Slowly but surely, we're building a house. We're building a house slowly but surely. Why aren't my effects working? There we go. I thought they weren't working for a split second. All right, next thing I want to do Actually, what I want to do... I'm gonna extend this down to here. I'm gonna extend that down. Don't know why I didn't. But I'm going to. Whatever that dimension is, I don't know. Really? Well, let me get rid of that. Let me measure this at least and see how measured that is. What is that? Why won't it tell me how long that is? All right, come on. Nope. There we go. That's what was holding it up. There we go. There we go. It's like trying to get it to connect again. Hey, Royal Nomi, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Hope your night's been going great. We're just working on modeling our very rough base for our gingerbread house here. Slowly working on basically just building it from the ground up. Making rounds before bed? Nice. Very nice. Well, I'll give you a good old shout out while we're here. And if you guys aren't following Royal Nomi, her and BC23D are an awesome part of our community here. They're also makers. They're also 3D printers. And they're also live streaming here on Twitch. So if you guys aren't following them, go give them a follow. It'd be greatly appreciated. Speaking of which, I need to do the same. There we go. Now I am following you. Hey, Tripod, welcome in. Hope you're doing well, as good as well. And oh, that's what I was doing. I lost my train of thought for a split second. I just gotta go around. There we go. Yeah, and while I'm at it, I'll also do a shout out to our friend Tripod. Another fantastic maker, 3D printer, laser engraver enthusiast here on Twitch and on YouTube. If you guys aren't following Tripod, go give him a follow as well. Also, go check out his YouTube channel. He does a lot of really great content over there. But we are slowly getting into Fusion 360 over here. Just trying to get this lined up. I do need to project that. I'll make it a tiny bit easier to connect it to. It's now I can do this. And I just gotta connect that side. And I'll just trim this away. Should be good at this point. Yeah, whatever that is that's going to stay that way. And it's going to be 0.25. There we go. Now I can extrude this up. Oh, shoot. Why did it do that? No, I don't want that. Alright, back to the drawing board. Connect the two. Okay. I think that fixed it. There we go. Now, be new body. Sweet. I'll be back in Thursday. Have a wonderful night. No worries, Roll Know Me. No worries. Have a great rest of your night. Take care. I'll see you soon. I do plan on being here Thursday. We are supposed to get a hurricane on Thursday, so we'll see how that goes. But as long as I don't lose power and my house isn't in good shape and not flooded, we should be here Thursday night streaming for more of this, for more modeling, and for marble racing. So, gotta save the, gotta make it to Thursday night marble streaming or marble racing. No amount of bad weather can dampen that. But if I don't have power, that might be a problem. Why is this not fixed? Alright, well, not much I can do about that. Marbles abort hurricane. Yeah, I could yeet the hurricane off the side of the map there. Wait, what hurricane? Oh yeah, Builder's Mark. We're supposed to get a storm blowing through here on Thursday, early Thursday morning. That's supposed to make landfall potentially either south of me or kind of right along the east coast of where I'm at as a potential Category 1 hurricane. And we're supposed to get a couple inches of rain and some good winds on Thursday, early Thursday morning through a good chunk of Thursday. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be as bad as the hurricane we had like a month ago. But it's going to be it's a quick moving storm, thankfully. But it is a storm that I unfortunately will be dealing with on Thursday. And as long as my power doesn't go out on Thursday, I do plan on trying to stream. So we'll have to wait and see. All right. So we got our wall, our open wall here. I don't know if I'm going to need that open wall or not, but we'll find out in a second. I actually should have done something a little bit different here. I need to cut this out, actually. I actually need to cut that out. So that's going to print very well, that little corner piece. But the piece I'm going to put in its, I'm going to make a separate piece that's going to stick up here and kind of fit into this. So I might have to, like, obviously I'm going to try to, like, clean it up a tiny bit. But once I get to this point here, we'll probably kind of wrap up because I'm kind of getting to that point where we're going to wrap things up for the night. I do have the thing on the print bed over there. We'll pull off too before we leave. There's our center here. I'm going to make this just very slightly smaller. Actually, I'm going to make that, and then I'm going to offset it by, like, .02. Just so it fits in there. I mean, I could make it attach so it glues into place, but it might. I'm gonna do it this way first and see what happens. But I'm basically going to make it like I'm gonna make this taller than everything. And I'm going to also, I probably should have designed around this. It's my own fault, really. Actually, what I'm going to do, just get rid of that. Bring that, open that back up. And I'm just gonna create a new body on top of it. Not that. No. Not the whole. Yeah, that's gonna be easier to work with. And this will be able to print to my Delta pretty nice. Doesn't look like much right now, but the vision in my head is what matters at the moment. I might make this like a like an angled roof. This is going to be interesting to do this here, but I am going to do something here. I am going to I'm going to cut this little intersection off. I'm just going to go on here, create a sketch, project this real quick, offset it, like very little. And then cut that off so it just fits a little bit better. And that's going to go all the way down to here. So this wall is going to have a little bit of a bevel there, so just that, you know, I'll be able to fit it in and it won't run into each other. And I can tweak it if I absolutely need to. One more thing I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to add one more wall, and then we'll wrap up. I'm going to go to like here, actually. I'm gonna leave some space in here and kind of make this like a not like a porch, but like a this is going to be kind of where the front door is at almost, if that makes sense. In my head it makes more sense. I'm going to make a sketch. This is I'm gonna add a spline like I'm gonna add another projection here now. Offset this by a little bit. O25 should be fine. I'm gonna go like, actually I'm gonna offset this by O25 as well, the other way, so that intersects with each other. I can't offset and offset, that kind of sucks. Second. There we go. Okay. I'm going to remove the printer cam just for a split second. Going to add a spline. Oops, not there. There. I'm gonna go up about, we'll go 2.5, and then we'll cut over. Yay amount. That looks fine. And then I'm gonna draw a spline basically. Actually, this is a 6mm or 6-inch diameter on this thing. There's the there we go. I'm going to trim a good chunk of things. Okay, I need to trim away there. This too. This as well. All this stuff I don't need. Hey, Chris Perillo coming down in with the rate of 32 viewers. Welcome on in, everybody. Great to see everybody here. Chris, thank you so much for the raid. Let me go back to my main screen for just a split second so I can introduce myself to everybody here. Welcome on in. Pardon all the emotes. Welcome on in. My name is Big Jano. I'm an engineer by day, but by night I like to game, I like to 3D print, and create awesomes here on Twitch a few nights a week. Thank you so much, Chris, for the awesome raid on in. And thank you, Ethan's dad, for resubscribing for 11 months in a row. Thank you so much. We are working right now on our Gingerbread House 2.0. We're slowly working on building it basically from the ground up. So we got all this kind of modeled up in the Fusion tonight so far. I don't have an exact like model I'm trying to reference, but I got some inspiration from a few different architectural type of houses. But right now I'm basically just building the base walls and kind of going from there. It's kind of an improvisational type build, but we're slowly getting there. My goal is to kind of get this wrapped up model wise by the end of this month, and then start printing all the parts for it in December and kind of building it. So, but yeah, it's coming along. It's a work in progress. Real quick before I forget, a big shout out to our friend Chris Perillo, an amazing creator and content creator here on Twitch. Loves Legos, Star Wars, all the nerd stuff, and is also the main man behind MakerDeck, which has been a fantastic community of many different makers, 3D printing, crafting, making of all different varieties, all on one live stream with 10 different screens going. It's an amazing time. If you guys haven't yet done so, go give MakerDeck a follow. Go check them out. And I gotta play
each other and tear ourselves to shreds like a pack of maniacs. Let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble.
Hi. Okay, it's worth it.
I have to play it when I mention MakerDeck. I think that's amazing. But seriously, go give MakerDeck a follow as well if you haven't yet done so. They are working on a lot of really cool stuff over there, starting to get creators involved as well through the Mom program, which I am also a part of. I haven't done much with it yet myself. I need to, hopefully when things start getting a little bit less hectic, I will be able to participate more and get on the live stream as well. But I am there for moral support regardless. And it's an awesome community, so you guys should check it out. But we are in the process of kind of wrapping up here tonight for the most part. I wanted to get one more wall built. And this is this curve wall we're kind of building right here. I'm going to keep this part open right here, because what I want to do is I want to add like a roof, and then I want to add some like pillars to this. This isn't a pillar. This is going to be part of the house itself. It's going to be like a kind of like not like a castle, but you ever see those like cylindrical columns you see on castles or Tuscan style houses that just have that like fort look to it? I don't know how to describe it, but that's kind of how I I want to make this a pretty decent sized house this year. And this is just the first floor. We're gonna try to do a second story on top of it, so we're already going above and beyond what we did last year. For those that weren't here last year when we did this was our model from last year. A very basic gingerbread house, nothing too fancy. I took my 3D pen and decorated the walls, the sides. We also made the little gumdrop pieces as well. We built the roof that goes on top of it. Very basic, but very fun project. But this year, I'm really hoping I don't bite off more than I can chew. And we're basically building a gingerbread mansion. At least that's kind of the idea here. Love the overlay. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. All these things in my overlay were custom made. The little nozzles on the sides here, I actually made the little 3D model of that in Blender and then imported it into the stream. I did some the MakerDeck logo you see on the bottom right corner was also built in Blender, and then also this transition was also done in Blender. So a lot of different things I did in Blender during my time of my hiatus a couple months back in May. We took like a month off of streaming, and I did some stuff to the stream to kind of update it, make it look a little bit nicer, and just give it a better feel to it. But let's add this wall real quick. Let's make this our 1/4 inch wall. All the walls are going to be a 1/4 inch thick. Actually, I might not need another wall. Let's extend this. I might not even need that. Let's trim this away. And then we're just going to extrude this. There we go. And I'm going to make this a tiny bit taller than the rest of the house. Let's do this like 7.5. I have a plan for this right now. I don't know if it's gonna be a good plan or not, but I plan on making like another an overhang for here, and I'm gonna add some like really cool like pillars like you see on older houses for like a structural element. I think that'd look cool here, but I have to. It might depend on. You know what? Now that I'm talking about this out loud, I'm gonna bump this down to 6. Or I guess this is what, 5 inches? 5.5? Nope. 5.75. There we go. Make it a new body, so it's a separate body. There we go. All right. And the door up here, like I mentioned before, is the door is more or less just a reference point for where the front is. But we're slowly architecting. If that's the right word. Slowly architecting our house here. And actually, one thing I want to do, real quick too, is I want to make this kind of hollow because I don't need it to be solid. And I'm going to cut that open. And I'm going to cut that up to here. There we go. So that's hollow. So that way I can print that without ease. And our goal is to print these both on both our printers. So we'll have both printers up and running. But I can print the taller pieces on the Delta machine because they can print taller pieces. But I think we're going to try to make this like a 2-story house. I think that'd look cool. And I also want to add some lighting effects, like some lights of some kind, make it look really nice. I'm going to add some other decorations to the front of this as time goes on. We start getting more into the design of things. But for now, my goal right now is to kind of get a frame built, and that way I can kind of tweak things if I need to. But the nice thing is here, I have all these separate bodies. So now if I need to save these parts, export them, whatever, I can, select whatever bodies I want. So all these pieces are going to be individual print files. So it's going to be a hefty print job for 2 printers. But I think as long as nothing goes wrong with my printers in the next month and a half, I think we can pull this off. Hey, Brother Jeff, welcome in. Good to see you. Monsoon Josh 3D, welcome in as well. But yeah, that's kind of the process I'm going with here. Nothing too fancy as of right now. But my goal is to hopefully on Thursday we can kind of get some more parts built. I mean, we did this in the span of like an hour and 15 minutes, so we might be able to get a good chunk more done on Thursday before we marble race. For those that are new to the channel here, marble racing will take place on Thursday. It takes place on every Thursday. Once we do some stuff halfway through the stream, we usually work on stuff on the first half of streams on Thursdays, and then the later half we will do our good old fun marble races. Sure, always a fun time. Depending on, I do have a hurricane potentially hitting me in my area on Thursday, so we'll have to wait and see. If I don't lose power, we should be okay, but it'll be a wait and see approach there. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for the most part tonight. We've been going for a few hours now. Let me pull off the thing off the printer. So I'm also working on, chat, besides the gingerbread house, we're also just printing some other holiday themed prints here on the channel. Let me go back to my gameplay screen real quick. We are printing, in the process of printing the different frames for this customizable snow globe model here on Printables from Scotty Makes. And we printed the stars tonight. That's what was on the printer earlier on the stream. I didn't pull it off the print bed yet. And then, I'm in the process of printing some of the other ones as well. I have the base printed here. This was printed in some IC 3D Red Pet G, which looks pretty nice. And then I have some Golden Winter glitter on the printer right now. That's just printed that piece. But I'm working on printing a few more of these little customizable slots for this snow globe print. And we'll probably be working on those a little bit more on Thursday as well. I need to start getting rid of some of the Halloween stuff over here and start replacing it with some awesome holiday prints. We're going to be printing some random... Before we get into printing the gingerbread house parts, we're going to be printing a lot of just fun holiday stuff that I find here on Printables or online or wherever. So that's what's going on there. Let me go pull it off the build plate real quick so you guys can see it. A little bit of stringiness, but not too bad. Gotta be careful. Don't break it. It's very fragile. This filament is a couple years old, so I do expect there to be slight stringiness. But not too bad, though. Not too bad at all. There we go. Where's the kitchen sink? The contractors are still trying to figure out which kitchen sink they want. It's between the marble and the stainless steel sink. Let me pull up. I can heat those little strings up. But yeah, this came out not bad at all. I had some issues printing this a couple times over the weekend because it was because of how detailed these little small pieces are. You can't print this too fast or else it will not stick. And if everything works as well as it should, I really do hope it fits. It is a tight fit in here, so I got to be careful. Oh, okay, it does want to go down. I'm not going to shove it in yet, but the plan is that you put them in here in these slots, and you can layer them up behind each other, and it looks really, really cool. But yeah, it's not too bad looking. Actually, this would probably go in the back. Trying to be very careful not to break this thing. I'll keep it there for now. But yeah, not too bad. I'll clean up a little bit. But not too bad. I love this Golden Winter glitter PLA from Printed Solid. It's a nice gold color. It's kind of a darker color, but it's really nice regardless. But yeah, work in progress. We'll get some more of these printed on Thursday. And we'll kind of show these off, put them right over here next to my other stuff, and we'll be good to go. But I'm going to wrap things up for tonight. I think we've covered a lot. We've done a lot tonight. We got a good amount of modeling done. I'm really happy with the progress we're taking on the gingerbread house. Let me go back to that real quick so you guys can take a look at it one more time. See what we got done tonight. We got a nice little frame built so far. Nothing super fancy yet, but we're slowly but surely we'll get there. And most of the inside's still going to be hollow. Nothing too crazy, but I'm really liking what we're doing with that so far. All right, I'm going to throw a raffle in the chat. Do the last one for the night. And then I'm going to figure out, we're going to go find a good place to raid over for tonight. Let's see who's on right now, and we can go figure that out. Let's see. Let's go over. We can go over to one or two people. We can go over to Zombie Hedgehog, who's working on some printing stuff. Or we can also go over to the Mitch22, who's working on a Voron build. I'm down with either. I don't think I've rated Mitch yet. I've rated Zombie, but not in a while. But if you guys either have a preference for one of those two, I do not care who. But let's see. Let's go over. Let's go over to Zombie Hedgehog. Let's go over to him, show him the same, show him some support. Go check out his stream. If you guys aren't following Zombie Hedgehog when you guys get over there, please go give him a follow. It'd be greatly appreciated. Let's go. There we go. There we go. And we're good. All right. Chat, thank you all for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. I'll catch you guys on Thursday. As long as the hurricane doesn't completely knock out power here, I'll keep you posted. Until then, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys on Thursday for more 3D modeling, 3D printing, and marble racing, of course. I'll catch you guys in the next video. And until next time, keep doing it big. Take care, guys. Have a great night.